And we are recording. All right, so we are recording. So we're perfect. Awesome. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back into another video of Matt's Sports Talk. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about the team that I think is going to finish. And again, we're talking about the men's side. We're fully on the men's side today, and of course, yesterday I did the women's side. Now, if you missed any of those videos for on the women's side, you can go back to my channel and watch them there, and I also have them posted on my playlist, Matt Sports Talk Season 2, 2025/26 season, and you can, of course, watch those videos there on that playlist. I'm going to be adding these videos talking about the men's side also to that playlist in case you miss any of these videos. So on the men's side, the next team that we're going to be talking about is Mount Vernon Nazarene out of Ohio. This is a team that went 14-15 last year, so they struggled 6-12 in the conference, and they finished in that number 8 spot last year. They did have a lot of I shouldn't say a lot of young players last year, but they had some returners, and they just couldn't quite seem to get everything together last year, struggling. But they did pick up some. They did struggle last year. Now they picked up some good wins. Of course, most notably beating Rio Grande at home 2 days before the new year, 85-81. And they also picked up a massive win at St. Francis back on January 8th, 98-73. But really outside of that, now they were at Grace January 18th. Grace was a top 10 team in the country. Mount Vernon only losing by 2. So they always seem to play Grace really close, and then they were at Bethel February 8th, and the Mount Vernon Cougars falling short 72-69, almost upsetting the Pilots. And then, of course, they played at home versus Grace, lost by 7 to end the regular season, went to Grace in the opening round of the tournament, lost by 20 points. So looking at their team this year, now most notably they did lose some good players from last year, and most notably Bailey Conrad, who played outstanding down low, and they lost a couple of other players that graduated. But looking at their roster for this year, they do have a lot of size this year, and that's something that they lacked last year. And because of that, I have them finishing in that number 6 spot, 2 spots higher than where they finished last year in that number 8 spot. So I think they're roughly going to finish 8-10, maybe 9-9 in the conference, be right in the middle of the pack, right around that 5 or 6 spot. But I do have them finishing in the number 6 spot. So looking at their roster for this year, freshman guard, 6 foot from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 0, Bryce Snell. Redshirt sophomore guard, 6'3", Caldwell, Ohio, number 1, Beatty Laurie. Number 2, Peyton Heiss, sophomore guard, 6'4", Plain City, Ohio. Number 3, Isaiah Brown, sophomore forward, 6'6", from Olentangy, Ohio. Number 4, Drew Koning, redshirt sophomore guard from Cedarville, Ohio, 6'3". Number 5, Grant Burkholder, redshirt sophomore guard, 5'9", from Newark, Ohio. Freshman forward, 6'6", from Troy, Ohio. Number 10, Isaac Burns. Redshirt senior guard, 6'1", Cedarville, Ohio. Number 11, Trent Koning, who led Mount Vernon in points in a lot of games last year, so he will be fun to watch this year for sure. Forward/center, sophomore, 6'8", Richmond, Indiana, number 20, Mason Harvey. Freshman forward/guard, 6'7", Mason, Ohio, number 22, Abib. And so I know that it's almost a tongue twister pronouncing his name. But definitely looking forward to watching him play. And then a sophomore guard, 6'3", Cleveland, Ohio, number 23, Junior Kambamba. Freshman forward, 6'7", Jackson Center, Ohio, number 32, Reed Plattfoot. Freshman forward, 6'9", Cincinnati, Ohio, number 34, Kieran Granville Britton. And a forward/center junior, 6'7", Dayton, Ohio, number 40, Devin Dreyer. And that is the men's basketball roster for Mount Vernon this year. Now, again, based on those predictions, they do have a lot more size this year than what they did last year. So again, because of that, I have them finishing in that number 6 spot. and picking up a couple of more conference wins than what they did last year. Last year they went 6-12 in the conference. I could easily see them getting to 8 or 9 conference wins this year, so obviously that's going to be really exciting. And so that's why I have them finishing in that number 6 spot. So next, looking at the team that I think is going to finish in that number 5 spot, and that is the Spring Arbor University Cougars. Now, if you're with me yesterday on the women's side, I mentioned that I have Spring Arbor women's team also finishing in that number 5 spot. Same thing on their men's team, and they had a great team last year. Of course, that was they had a great team last year, highlighted by Gabe Newhoff, who transferred this year to go NCAA Division I. So obviously losing him is going to put a big dent in their program, but they still do have a lot of talent this year under head coach Ryan Cottingham. And looking at their record last year, 20-11, making the national tournament, 11-7 in the conference, and they had some great wins last year. That is for sure. Nearly upset Indiana Wesleyan, but they lost 89-83 at Indiana Wesleyan last year. And looking at their other wins that they had, they picked up a massive home win against Indiana Wesleyan, unranked, when Spring Arbor played them up at Spring Arbor, defeating them 84-75. And then most notably for the Cougars, they got red hot toward the last few games of the regular season, upsetting number 14 Huntington at Huntington 62-58, beating number 10 Bethel at home in Spring Arbor 79-72, and then picking up a 18-point win at St. Francis to round out the regular season, losing a very close game to IWU in the first round of the conference tournament, 96-95 in triple overtime. And then in the opening round of the national tournament, a 2-point win against Cornerstone, and then losing to number 5 in the country, Freed Hardman, only by 2, 71-69. And so for the Cougars of Spring Arbor, they definitely have a lot of momentum this year under head coach Ryan Cottingham. And I do think they are going to finish in that number 5 spot, roughly the same spot they did last year where they finished 4th. I still think they're going to be right in that middle of the pack, picking up 10 or 11 conference wins. And looking at their roster, they have a loaded roster this year, and when I say when I give the info for their roster, I think you'll definitely understand why I have them finishing still in that roughly top 4, top 5 spot, officially finishing 5th in my prediction. Freshman guard, 5'10", Middlebury, Indiana, Cam Radaker, number 0. Number 1, David Cundiff, Saltmore guard, 6 foot, Munster, Indiana. It's probably pronounced Moonster, obviously for the Moonster cheese. If you're not familiar with Moonster cheese, that is a cheese name. Senior guard, number 2, Travis Grayson at Valparaiso, Indiana. Number 3, Shane Reisky, Saltmore guard, 6'3", Schoolcraft, Michigan. Saltmore guard, Jonesville, Michigan. Number 5, Warwick Elder. Junior forward, 6'6", from Stevensville, Michigan. Number 10, TJ Mitchell. Pardon me. Mitchell transferring from Davenport University. Senior number 11, Eli White, 6'3", guard, Ashland, Ohio. Freshman guard, 6'2", Monroe, Indiana. Number 12, Trace Mahler. Senior forward, 6'6", number 15, Aiden Zank. Freshman forward, 6'6", Brownstown, Indiana. Number 20, Colby Hall. Senior forward, 6'7", Schoolcraft, Michigan. Number 21, Ty Reisky. Saltmore forward, 6'6", Dublin, Ohio. Number 22, Jaden Nimako. Junior forward, 6'5", Moonster, Indiana. Number 23, Brandon Trilly, transferring from NCAA Division I, Northern Michigan University. So that's a good pickup for head coach Ryan Cottingham. And then a junior forward, 6'8", Canton, Michigan. Number 24, Dante Faber. And Faber played great for the Cougars last year, so getting him back this year as a junior is definitely going to boost their roster, that is for sure. Freshman forward, 6'7", Morgantown, Indiana. Number 30, Colt Nelson. And a freshman forward, 6'8", from Osceola, Indiana. Number 33, Brandon King. And that is a look at their roster. So this is a team that I definitely could see finishing in the top 4 or 5, but I officially have them finishing in that number 5 spot. So the next team that I have finishing in that number 4 spot officially is going to be the Bethel University Pilots. out of Mishawaka, Indiana. And last year, Bethel had a good year, 24-9, 14-4 in conference, had a great record at home, 14-3, really struggled on the road, going just 8-5, making the Sweet 16 round in Kansas City and losing by 5 to LSU Alexandria. And now for the Pilots, they don't have their roster listed on their website, so I'm not going to record a separate video talking about their official roster for this year. Now, one thing is for sure, they did lose. I know for sure they lost Preston Phillips, who transferred to go NCAA Division I. Now, they are still loaded with lots of talent this year in terms of size. I don't think that's going to be I don't think they're going to do any worse than what they did last year. I mean, maybe they win maybe one, possibly two more conference games to get into that mix for the top 3 spot. But I do fully expect the Bethel Pilots to finish in that number 4 spot. They finished in the number 2 spot last year, but I have them dropping a couple of spots further down, finishing in that number 4 spot this year, and under head coach Steve Draben. And then looking next, before we get to the final 2 Crossroads League teams that I think are going to finish in those number 1 and 2 spots, looking next at the Huntington Foresters out of Huntington, Indiana. Now, they finished in that number 3 spot last year under head coach Corey Alford, and now Corey went to coach NCAA Division I Earl Roberts University down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So obviously that's going to look, their team's going to look a little bit different this year. They also lost several players from last year: Drew Goodline, Lane Sparks, as well as who's the other one? Landon Jordan. They also went NCAA Division I. So looking at the Foresters roster schedule from last year, they had a really good year: 25-8, 12-6 in the Crossroads League. And the Foresters last year, they had a great year, and it was really, really exciting to see their season play out last year. They did have some really good wins last year, defeating Indiana Wesleyan at home 97-88. And then looking further down their list, only having a 4-point loss to Grace at home. And then they did pick up a 10-point win at Bethel the end of January. And they won by 2 at Grace February 12th. So that was a massive win for them. And then, of course, in the first round of the Crossroads tournament, they defeated 6th seed St. Francis by 12, beat Bethel by 10, and then went to 1-seeded Grace in the championship, lost by 8, defeated Lourdes at home in the first round, and lost to Northwestern out of Iowa in the second round by 14. So obviously this is going to be a team that's going to look way different this year. But this year they have a new head coach, actually served under Corey Alford as his former assistant coach and associate head coach, I might add. And that is Jared Jauk. And Jared knows the game of basketball very, very well, and I have no doubt he's going to lead the Foresters to a great season. Now, because of that, and because of all of their size that they have this year, when I'm going to look at their roster here in just a second, you'll definitely see why I have them finishing in that number 3 spot. Senior forward, 6'11", number 1, Caden Johnson. 6-foot sophomore guard, Fishers, Indiana, number 2, Miles Good. Number 3, Kate Brenner, junior guard, New Paris, Indiana. Number 4, Tayden Metzger, 6'2" guard, sophomore guard, Fishers, Indiana. 6'5" senior guard, number 5, Jeremiah Stroman from Washington, D.C., transferring from Union Commonwealth University. Freshman guard, number 10, Max McComb, 6'4", Carmel, Indiana. Senior forward, number 11, 6'6", from Paris, France, transferring from University of Rio Grande. Number 11, Keelane Lacissi. Sophomore forward, number 12, Wyatt Zepp, 6'8", sophomore forward, Middlebury, Indiana, transferring from Concordia University out in Michigan. That school closing down, so that's why he's transferring. Then a NCAA Division I transfer from East Tennessee State University, number 13, Jackson Jones, sophomore guard, 6'4", from Council Bluffs, Iowa. Landon Beagle, junior forward, 6'5", Marion, Indiana, number 15. Senior guard/forward, 6'8", number 23, Matthew Spears from Indianapolis, Indiana, transferring from NCAA Division I, Arkansas Pine Bluff. And then a grad student, 6'1" guard, number 24, Jackson Paul from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Freshman forward, 6'7", Carmel, Indiana, number 33, Liam Mann. And a senior forward, 6'5", Spencerville, Indiana, number 41, Luke LaGrange. So obviously you'll see why I have Huntington finishing in that number 3 spot. And you'll definitely see why based on those predictions. So coming up next, we're going to be looking at the last 2 teams that I think are going to finish in that number 1 and 2 spot, starting with the team that I think is going to finish in that number 2 spot. That's going to be coming up here in just a second. So if you did enjoy this video, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out greatly, and any feedback that you give me really helps me out. So thanks so much for watching, and have a blessed day.